Hey, good morning. This is Nikki. This is Scratching the Dirt. This video is going to be all about what we do, well, what I do when I don't know what to do. So I had one plan for the weekend. It was to make sure I got the cucumbers done. So we're going to do that for sure. I've actually already been out there. I pulled all the cucumber plants down. And as I was doing that, I realized that sweat was just dripping down my face and I needed to go get my headband. And I'm stopping for a little Powerade. I lose a lot of electrolytes because I sweat a lot, so I take frequent breaks. It is 9 a.m. Saturday morning. I've got about an hour and a half before my dad gets here, so I don't have a full morning to spend out here. So, but we're going to see what we can get done. This is something that happens with me often, where I have like I can sit here and look, right? Like I'm looking, I'm going, I need to move that. That has weeds in it. The hose needs to be put away. I'm going to pull the zucchini to make room for jalapenos. That needs to be done. I need to go harvest. I have okra and green beans ready. I need to check the tomato plants because something's been eating my tomatoes. I need to get the soil ready for the new cucumbers that are going to go in, the seeds that are going to go in. I wanted to start a fire because we have limbs everywhere that I wanted to burn, but I didn't start the fire because Dad's coming and we're going to leave and go to lunch. And so I don't leave a fire burning when we're not here. So I might do that this afternoon. I need to redo the potato soil from some potatoes I pulled out and get that ready for new potatoes. I need to clean up the old compost that ever since we moved the compost to the new location, it's been sitting there, and I'm looking at it. I have a pile of pots and a table and a wheelbarrow and a big bucket, and I have all kinds of things over there that need to be moved. Like I can sit here and tell you 12 things that need to be done. And because there's 12 things that need to be done, I don't know what to do. I get like analysis paralysis, right? Where the list is so long, I don't know where to start. And so it takes me forever to just start. Fortunately, I knew for sure that I wanted to do the cucumbers. So I went out there and I did that first thing. Like I walked to the garden and then I got my stuff together and I went and pulled the cucumbers and I filmed that. Now, after I still need to clean up the clips that are on the ground over there. And I know I need to get the soil ready, but I had to stop because I needed to come get a trash bag. I needed to get my towel. I needed to get a headband because I was sweating so bad. I needed to get a Powerade. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take a break because I'm already super sweaty. But now beyond the soil over there that I know I'm going to recondition the soil. I'm going to add some fertilizer to it, put a couple of bags of new soil on top, and then the seeds are going to go in. But beyond that, I don't know what to do, because I have so many things that I could do. The wrench is that I have plans at 10:30, which is unusual for a Saturday morning. I usually try to keep Saturdays just open so that I can be out here. It's my big day out here. I don't have plans for tomorrow, so that means that I can be out here. But generally, I like to do more of the inside stuff on Sundays to get ready for the work week. But I can definitely do a morning out here tomorrow. Anyways, that's where we are. That's what happens with me every single week. I'm usually jumping from task to task and never really completing anything because I get distracted. I think I may have ADD. I don't know, but this is where we are right now. So hopefully you're going to see this is basically what happens when I don't know what I'm doing. Usually when I do this, I get real kind of violent with it and I just yank and try to avoid that this time and be a little more precise about it. One, so I don't have massive strings that won't go in my bucket. And two, so I can pull all my clips. I have all these little clips that I want to be able to save. Some of these, here's the bummer about this. a couple of those. So I thought in the spring, I thought about succession planting cucumbers, which I've never done before. And once the cucumbers had gotten to the point where they reached the trellis, I came in behind them and added new seeds. So some of these plants are actually not quite as old as the others and probably have some life in them, but I'm not going to try to sit here and follow these vines down to what's what. I'm just going to start over, and I'm not ever going to try to do succession planting that way again, because all they really did was grow the wrong direction instead of going up the trellis. And I think I did it too early. So then they all kind of became confused. I couldn't tell what was what. There's also a lot of grass growing in here. So these, see, oh, like there's a cucumber. It's not fully done, but that bottom part will be good. If not for me, then for the chickens for sure. The girls love the cucumbers. I love this time of year when I can give them cucumbers a lot. I'm doing another planting because I found that we got a lot of cucumbers off this, a lot, and I kind of took a look at the fridge because I've been doing refrigerator pickles. I haven't done any like hot brine pickles yet, and I took a look at the fridge and I was like, well, there's really not that many pickles in here. Because I ate all the cucumbers fresh. I was eating them every day, fresh. So I was like, dang it. I'd like to have more pickles. So that's why we're going to do more cucumbers. I love cucumbers. I'll eat them, of course, like I'll eat them with like blue cheese dressing or something. I don't like ranch. And I know that makes me weird, but I'll eat them with like blue cheese dressing, or sometimes like a little oil and like lemon juice or something. But more often than not, I literally just slice them and eat them. Like, I just like them plain. I just sit and snack on them. They're so good. So if I want to be able to do that and have pickles, then I got to grow more cucumbers. And I don't know. So as I get in here, I'm going to pull some of these weeds out too. You can tell, look, like 3 minutes in, I'm already getting impatient and just yanking. Girls can eat that a little bit. So, there we go. And I probably should have put my headband on because my hair is already in my face, bothering me. I might get that when I'm done. Like all these clips. I wonder if Jose put a lot of these clips on here because I don't remember putting these clips. I mean, there's a bunch of them. Now I know where all my clips went. You see me pulling grass out of here, and I hopefully, I don't know, with the sun, it's always hard for me to see what this is actually filming, but this is the arch, obviously. The cucumbers were right here. The green beans are over here, or the different beans are over here. When that first year we were here, I came in and I put weed fabric down because we had access to a lot of mulch, like super crazy cheap. It was all different colors, and it was just basically like busted bags. So my idea was to weed fabric all around everything and then put the mulch on top. This was the very first part I did right here, in between here. Literally the first strip of weed fabric went down right here. And I took the weed fabric to about 4 to 6 inches from each side and left a strip of soil, like native soil, on each side. And I didn't know because I'd never used weed fabric before. And of course, as you can imagine, what happened was all of the grasses and weeds just grew up through that soil. Now they've completely come up through the weed fabric. There's actually weed fabric under here. And I've gone and I've sat down on the butt and I've ripped everything out and got it completely clean. And then within a month, it's all back. So this was a huge mistake that I made my first year here that I'm still dealing with. And I'm not sure what the solution is, because as we make the changes to the garden, right, like where the rows are, there didn't used to be anything there. Where the 2 rows are over there, there was, last year I just had like a row of grow bags. There wasn't anything, I wasn't growing anything there. So as we move from these beds that are rusting out, hopefully you can see that. As we move from these beds that are rusting out and going to rows, I got to figure out what to do with the in-between spaces. I don't know if that's going to be like a load of gravel, if it's going to be mulch. I'm not sure what I want to put in the in-between spaces. I know that I don't want all this grass and stuff growing in here. Because, you know, in places like this with the cucumbers, it just overwhelms. So I'm going to be figuring that out. I know that it's not a project for this year. It'll be a winter or spring project to clean everything up. Let's just kind of take a walk through here. See all of, right, like all of this is just grass, like, and weeds and junk all around. So this is where we were here in between the cucumbers underneath the trellis. We come around and like even this, you can see that's an olive tree, but all of the grass, Jose just ripped all the grass out like a week ago and it's coming back. All of this grass, here's the fence line. So I want all of this gone, and I want it to be some sort of no need to mow material. There's the other olive tree just almost completely taken over again. All the way up to here, you can see when we start getting to here, this is where I had mulch, and I like raked it back to all over. I've got it all over the place. I raked it back to build the rows, and we slit. There's the weed fabric down there. We cut slits in the weed fabric for where the rows were going to be. Not slits, we did more than that. We cut out like a rectangle of them. But so I've got like piles of random mulch here, and then it goes into where there's just grass. Like this part, I never weed fabric. It wasn't this big before, but the fence line is all the way back here. So I want all this to come out. All this grass and weeds. Over here, see, this was all mulched, and you can tell that there's very little mulch left. It's been moved around so much that there's hardly anything left on this side. So we don't have enough mulch right now to redo it. We do have a lot of mulch though. Like if I were to rake all this up and pile it up, I think I'd find that I have more mulch than I think I do. I could use it in here, but I don't have a border on this. And I don't know if I want a border on this. Because I have like, look, there's a basil, and then there's more basil, and then there's the vincas that grew down here. Like I kind of wonder if I would be okay. Let's get from this view and see if I would be okay with it coming out this far. So another foot, maybe even 1.5 feet in some places, it looks like, further than it currently does. Like I planted all of these things in here where the oval planters or garden beds were, the boxes. And so I didn't come out very far because there is like an up. It goes up. So it felt like that was the flat before it started to slope. So I kind of stayed there. And then as these things, especially the vincas, the vincas were in a grow bag over right here last year, right where that rosemary is. And they grew up and out, and they seated themselves right here in front of there. So, you know, I don't know what to do with everything. I definitely am going to have to think some of this through and figure out. Also, you know, the cost. Like this is a lot of footprint, a lot of square footage to be buying like a load of rock or something. So that would be a lot of money. And if you don't know yet, I can be kind of cheap. So that's where that is. That's why it looks the way it does. I know it's not beautiful. It will be. It will be one day. It's going to be amazing. For now, it's more about trying to get as much food out of here as we can. And then just having, you know, the things to do that make me relax. Like I love working outside. I love being out here. I went and got a scoop of garden tone. It's just garden tone. I didn't bring the whole bag out because it's heavy, it's big, and I just for this little section, I didn't want to drag that all the way over here, to be honest. So all I'm doing is I'm adding garden tone here because the cucumbers that were here depleted the nutrients. Boom. Now I'm going to go grab the soil. All right, I grabbed the soil. I just got, these are bags that we had bought a couple months ago when they were cheap on sale. It's just Miracle-Gro garden soil. I don't actually usually use Miracle-Gro. This year we got it because of the sale. And I'm just going to put one bag on this side and one bag on the other side. And then I'm going to mix it with that garden tone. I'm going to water it down, and then it's going to be ready for cucumber seeds. So I have 3 different kinds. I have pick a bushel, I have straight 8, and I have poinset 76. So I actually have many more different kinds in the house. But these are the 3 I'm going to go with. And I grabbed that big okra from earlier that I picked. I'm actually going to use it to make my little row here. And these seeds are not this year's seeds. They were given to me and they're older, so I'm gonna sow them pretty thick to hopefully get a good germination. Plus, I found that the cucumber plants, if you start training them early up the trellis, they don't actually need a lot of like horizontal space. They don't. That's fine if they're close together. Of course, there's a train. So I have kind of a guide row here. What I'm going to do, I had picklers over here before, so I'm going to keep picklers on this side. Otherwise, I'll just forget. I'll be like, what did I do? So let's see. See how many seeds are in here. I usually buy my pickling cucumber seeds from the feed store, the local feed store. So I didn't know how many seeds would be in one of these kinds of packets. So there's about that many. I'm actually going to plant all of these. They're about to all go in. Again, because I'm worried about germination rates, and also I'm not worried about spacing because of my experience with the vertical growing, vertical growing. So even if they're close together, they're going to be fine. Now, when these start to germinate, I can always thin them if I feel like I need to. So that only got to here, to right here. So I'm going to go and cover these up so I know. Of course, I can see them, but I don't want that big chunk. Now, cover these up. It's about the same amount of seeds. It's about the same amount there. So I think what's going to end up happening is I'm going to end up using all 3 of these packets fully. So we're going to start here. I know hardcore gardeners are looking at me going, that's too many, that's too close. I know. It's okay. This is what I do. And of all the things I've struggled with, I've never struggled with cucumbers. So I'm going to keep doing what I do until I find it doesn't work. Okay, so that was the poinset 76, which I'm going to keep these in order so I can write it down so I know what's what. So I'm going to just fill these in. These might have actually been a little too close. I'm looking at them now in the ground, but we're going to see what happens. I'm going to see if my instincts are right, that it's going to be okay. And then I've got straight 8, another one I've never grown before. These look like slicing cucumbers, which is good. So this way I have slicers and I have picklers. So maybe I won't eat everything fresh and I'll actually make some pickles. So I'm going to put these wide apart first so I make sure I get all the way to the end. And then I'll come in and fill in with the extras. All right, and one got away. You come over here, be with your friends. Okay. So they've got fresh soil. There's fertilizer kind of under the soil, so it's not burning up the seedlings. But once the roots get down in there, they'll be able to start pulling from that. It's a time release fertilizer too, so it's not gonna be super. I say that, but that's also the same fertilizer I over fertilize these tomatoes with back here. So hopefully I learned my lesson there. And then we just come in with some more water. And I don't use it full blast, so I don't move a bunch of soil around. So we got a good amount of water in here. I'm gonna check them later today, see what it looks like, see how dry it gets. And remember, these are really close to the surface. So I gotta keep the surface, the top, ½ inch moist, because that's where the seed is. And that seed needs that water to soften up so it can pop through. Jose's running the mower, so we'll see if you can hear me, but I've got some stuff. I've got some marigold here. One of the marigolds that I cut a couple weeks ago flopped over and it's just like breaking apart. So I've got some of that. I had some basil that was bolting, and then and a couple of greens leaves I saw, and the cucumbers from earlier. This is all going to go to the chickens. So I just gave the girls all that stuff. And they're just getting after it. Look at Bacon. Wait, you're not Bacon. I do that all the time. So Bacon is the one, brown one with the floppy comb. And then the well bars, this one and that one over there, you can see her little tail, her little butt. They look similar. So sometimes if I don't pay attention to the comb, I get them mixed up. Okay, there they are, enjoying their fresh things from the garden. I had a lot of basil that was bolting. I tried to pick all that.